When I was a young man and the thought of marriage first entered my mind, my mother insisted on one thing. She said, "Find a woman with a strong character. Find a woman who is kind, who is steady, who is loyal. A partner like that is an anchor. She will keep you safe in any storm. Beauty fades, but a good heart does not." She even suggested a few women from our town whom she believed had these qualities. But I was not listening. In my mind, I was only looking for a partner who was beautiful. I thought that was enough. Some time passed. Then, one day, I saw her. I was walking through the city and she was coming out of a cafe. She was the most beautiful person I had ever seen. It felt like a light was shining only on her. I was captivated. I followed her at a distance, not to be strange, but just to see where she went. I found out where she lived. We met. We started dating. It was a whirlwind. Soon, we were married and living under one roof. My wife was indeed beautiful, but she was not steady. She was not an anchor. I was in love, or so I told myself. I would have done anything for her. When she said our apartment was not good enough, that we had to live in a better part of the city, I agreed. I worked extra hours to afford it. When she said she wanted to go back to school and not work, I agreed. I supported us both. I even sold my motorcycle, the one thing I truly loved for myself, and used the money to buy her a nice car so she could drive to her classes. I thought my sacrifices would make her happy. I thought they would make her love me more, but the opposite happened. As time passed, she changed. She became more distant. Small things would make her angry. A dish left in the sink, a word said the wrong way, would lead to her giving me the silent treatment for days. Her attention was always on her phone, scrolling through pictures of other people's lives, always wanting more. I kept waiting for the woman I fell in love with to come back. I kept making excuses for her, thinking it was just a phase. Then, one night, she sat down across from me at our kitchen table. Her face was serious. She said, "This isn't working. I think we should get a divorce. We can do it quietly. We can agree on the terms." I was shattered. I asked her why. What had I done? I promised to change, to do better. She just shook her head. She said, "We're just not good for each other. You're content with so little. You have no ambition. Look at you." Her words were meant to cut, and they did. I found out later that there was someone else, a classmate from her school. She had found him more exciting. He had more money, more flash. That was the real reason. My pride was gone. I begged. I actually got down on my knees and begged her not to do this. I thought about our future. I thought about the family we might have had one day. I pleaded for that future. "Please," I said. "Please don't say this is the end. We can fix this. I can fix this." My begging only seemed to make her more upset. She looked at me with something like disgust. Then, she did something I will never forget. Her hand moved so fast I did not see it coming. The slap across my face was sharp and stung more with shock than with pain. It was not the pain that hurt the most. It was the finality of it. Without another word, she stood up, walked out the door, and left. In the silence she left behind, I finally understood my mother's words. She was not trying to control my life. She was trying to save me from this exact pain. She knew that a partner must be an anchor. My wife was beautiful, but she was only a beautiful sail, taking me wherever the wind blew. When a storm came, she tore away. She was never an anchor. And now she was ready to be a sail for someone else's boat. All right, everyone, let's settle in and decode this tale. What we just heard is more than just a sad story about a failed marriage. It's a blueprint for a specific kind of heartbreak, one that happens when we ignore wisdom in favor of a pretty surface. It's a lesson in values, in seeing people for what they truly are, not just for what we want them to be. The core of this story is a conflict between two value systems. On one side, we have the mother's philosophy. She represents experience and wisdom. Her advice is to look for character. She uses that word, anchor. An anchor is something that holds you firm, that provides stability and safety. It's not flashy. It's not always visible. But it is the most important part of the boat when the weather turns bad. She is advocating for a partnership built on resilience and mutual support. On the other side, we have the young man's desire. He is driven by immediate attraction. He is looking for beauty. And there is nothing wrong with beauty. But his mistake was making it the only thing that mattered. He saw the light shining on her and mistook it for warmth, without checking to see if there was actually a fire there. This is a very common human error. We are visual creatures, and we are often seduced by the surface. The story then shows us the consequences of this choice. His entire marriage becomes a series of one-sided sacrifices. He moves to a better neighborhood. He works more. He sells his motorcycle to buy her a car. He supports her through school. Notice a pattern here? It's all him giving and her taking. A relationship, especially a marriage, should be a balance of give and take. It should be a partnership. Here, it was more like a service he was providing. He thought his generosity would earn her love and loyalty. But often, when you give too much to someone who only knows how to take, it doesn't create gratitude. It can create contempt. They start to see you as less, not more. This leads to the psychological aspect of the wife's behavior. We never get deep into her mind, but her actions paint a picture. She seems restless, unhappy, and always searching for something more, something better. She is focused on the material world, a better apartment, a better car, and eventually what she perceives as a better partner. She is comparing her life to the curated highlights she sees on her phone, and her husband and her own life never measure up. This is a very modern kind of unhappiness. She lacks an internal anchor herself, so she cannot possibly be one for someone else. The moment of the slap is the ultimate symbol of disrespect and the death of the relationship. It's not just a physical act, it's an emotional knockout punch. It shatters any last illusion he might have had about their connection. You do not physically strike someone you love and respect. That action told him everything he needed to know. Her walking out immediately after confirms that there is nothing left to save. Which brings us to the painful lesson he learns too late. His mother was right. A life partner needs to be an anchor. They need to be someone who is there for the hard times, not just the good times. They need to be a oar, which means a helper, a supporter, a true companion. His wife was only a yar, in the most superficial sense, a temporary companion of beauty. When a challenge came, she was not a helper. She was the one who created the storm and then jumped ship. This story educates us on the importance of discernment in our relationships. It warns us against being blinded by superficial qualities. It asks us to look deeper, to value character, integrity, kindness, and loyalty above all else. These are the qualities that build a life together. These are the qualities that survive hardships, financial struggles, illness, and all the unexpected things life throws our way. Beauty, status, and excitement are fine, but they are the decorations on the house. Character is the foundation. If the foundation is weak, the whole house will collapse at the first strong wind. So, what can we learn from this? We can learn to listen to the wise people in our lives who have more experience. We can learn to slow down and really get to know someone's character before making lifelong commitments. We can learn to value ourselves enough not to be the only one making sacrifices in a relationship. A partnership means both people are rowing the boat. Both people are maintaining the anchor. On this channel, DecodeTales, we believe every story has a key. a key that can unlock a better understanding of ourselves and our world. The key to this story is to choose your anchors wisely because everyone you let into your life will either steady you or rock your boat. If this tale made you think, if you've ever experienced something similar or learned a lesson the hard way about people, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Share your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this kind of deep dive into a story's meaning, please check out our other videos. There's a whole library of DecodeTales waiting for you. If you like what we do, hitting that like button and subscribing really helps us out. Thanks for listening.